for me, is that as a priest, as a Catholic or preacher, I see them as a marketplace. So Jesus, in his time, there was no social media. So he goes to the marketplace, talk to people, and obviously there's a lot of noise and different things, but people come, didn't like it, left. Some people like it, so follow him. So in the social media for me is an opportunity or space for evangelization and engaging with people.
Okay, Father Michael.
Good. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you for coming straight off the train station, I think.
Thank you. Yes, I am. I just came from Palermo, so
Palermo, wow.
a bit casual today, but I hope it's okay with you.
It is perfectly okay. And so, Father, you were in one of the workshops that was focused, I think, on Christian or Catholic storytelling, right?
That's right.
And what was that like?
I think there was also kind of debate or sharing opinion, I would say, that whether this AI technology is helpful for the artist to create their work, to communicate with people, or it can be an obstacle. So whether can we use for good or not. So, and then some of the movie or filmmakers and those developers fear that that may replace the actual human creation. But the other side as well, saying that, but that helps people who need to spend like three days to work on this. AI can help to do it within 30 minutes. So that the other time the artist can focus on different things too. So it's a pros and cons for that.
And did you guys talk mostly about like film and like I guess video media, or were they also talking about other forms of storytelling?
I think mostly we are dominated by like movie making or like media type rather than paintings or any other things, because I found that there's a few filmmakers try to explain and try to share their opinions, and for me, or more like social media side, they don't really talk about social media. So okay, well, let them talk. But as a part of art, doesn't really matter what platform or what means you're using it, but it's just like how we can use AI in as a means to communicate with people the truth, beauty, and goodness.
And that's so important. And I wonder, Father, how do you tell it in a world where there's almost too much media?
We talked about like 3 different categories of Christian storytelling or Catholic storytelling. One is like explicit one, which is like Passion of Christ type of movies or films. It's very explicit. Maybe another one could be the implicit way of storytelling, like Star Wars or these different type of Christian meaning in there. And then the third one is just the online presence of Catholics in that world, media world. So for me, I know I can talk from the social media side because that's what I've studied and also I'm interested in. Yes, you're just constantly scrolling your screen, even movies on the flight. You spend 30 minutes or an hour just to see all the options and see the trials and all that. But I think it's important for us at the moment is to hook people's eye, catch his eyes first. Otherwise, they will just keep scrolling. So recently also I discussed about how can we make this short film or reels or who knows in the future what type of platform will take place. But currently, because it's all short attention, so like within 3 seconds, how can we catch people's eyes so that they can actually try to listen to the message of hope, message of love that we try to spread out.
How do you relate to social media? What are you concerned about it? Do you use it yourself a lot?
So my opinion on this is, again, social media is a tool, not the thing that we need to get into all the time. So if it is useful to do that you want to do, why not? But again, if it is distracting or putting, the suicidal way or even addiction, even that can be addictive. So if that goes in a negative way, then we should find out some way we can stop that too. But for me, is that as a priest, as a Catholic or preacher, I see them as a marketplace. So Jesus, in his time, there was no social media. So he goes to the marketplace, talk to people, and obviously there's a lot of noise and different things, but people come, didn't like it, left. Some people like it, so follow him. So in the social media for me is an opportunity or space for evangelization and engaging with people, but at the same time, we need to know and we need to teach how to use it carefully and respectively.
And what are ways of using social media like in a particularly successful manner for evangelization?
So I'm in the parish called Sacred Heart in Kew in Melbourne, Australia. So we created the social media channel for our church account. And then I have my own personal account as well. Our media team talked about it, and I strongly believe that if someone else doing a great job in a particular content, we don't want to do it as the same thing. So we try to find the uniqueness of our church social media account. And I think because I play the violin as well, so they said, "Oh, Father, not many priests play the violin." I said, "Well, I don't play well. That doesn't matter." So the major content of our church account, social media channel, is the praying. So each time we set up different theme. Like for example, one of the highest view that we had on prayer is to pray for the job. So people are struggling with their finance breakdown and finding the job. So simply like 15 seconds or 30 seconds of prayer for them, and people respond. And I engage with my personal account to respond as well. And the other content is, yes, play the violin. I recently played a music piece called Ave Maria.
Cool.
And it's, I think, now 300,000 views above.
Wow.
But again, we don't have many followers. We don't have
300,000 is good, though. That's pretty solid.
So our followers at the moment is like TikTok is 8,000 and Instagram is 30,500, but without any hashtag or any advertisement type of thing. But somehow, because of this pure content, which satisfy people's demand or needs at the moment, and they got that response too. So again, that's a uniqueness of our social media channel for our parish and the church, and that's how we try to communicate with people. And my target audience is people who don't come to church or haven't heard about Jesus Christ and even left the church. So I want them to come back or have a look and, oh, okay, that's an interesting place. So some of the comments told me, we saw was that, oh, where is your church, you know? And I was referring back to them, try to find a local church that you're leaving. So it's not about bringing people to my church. It's bringing people to God and go to their local church and see how it goes.
Do you find that they're looking for the truth, or they're looking for deeper conversations or meaning?
I think so. And that's why my idea or goal is to connect between them and people who are already producing the really depth meaning of content. So for example, Father Michael Schmitz, Bishop Barron, Robert Gallia, so all these clergy and also the lay faithful who are producing a really depth Christian Catholic content. And I'll use this example if you don't mind. We don't give a baby a steak. We give a baby with milk, porridge, and then when he or she's grown up, then we introduce sandwich and then like a nice piece of steak and wine type of thing. So for me, it's like targeting the little baby. So they cannot digest the contents which is already out there. So I'm trying to hook their eyes, okay, but with the implicit meaning or message behind. And when they want to, I want to know something more, then I'll pass that on to those serious content so that they can actually have a look. So yes, I can say on our social media, I cannot say the others, but our church accounts is a lot of positive comments, and they want to learn something more, then I respond to them. Okay, you can find out this way as well. So yes, definitely.
And Father, when you were going to seminary, or maybe even just speaking to the young men that you meet now who are kind of preparing for the priesthood, was there formation in digital evangelization and using social media, responsively and effectively?
Unfortunately, no. I don't think at the time when I was in the seminary, like 20 years ago or 10 years ago in between, I don't think social media was part of the big game. And even now, and like, for example, when I was in the seminary, we are not allowed to use a mobile phone. Really? For the first year. And even gradually, they allowed seminarians to use phones every Saturday, which is, I'm only talking about Melbourne. I don't know about the other countries or other seminaries. But then nowadays, everyone in the seminary can use a mobile phone. There's an internet connection in room. But my time, we didn't even have an internet connection in our room. So 40 students use a two common computer in the library to search stuff, but now it's changed. Is it good or bad? I'm not sure, because recently I also went back to Korea and met other formators in a different diocesan seminary. And I was surprised, amazed that during the 7 years of seminary formation in Korea, well, I cannot say others, but two other dioceses, seminarians not allowed to use mobile phones for 7 years in Korea.
Wow.
And because of my thesis, I think it is important for this younger generation to follow that up, what's going on outside of the world, because as I said, that's a marketplace where people are communicating. And I think it was the last month, one of the seminary has invited one influencer priest to come and give the lecture to the formators, not the students. So that formators can learn first what's going on social media, and then they can filter it to seminarians. But the problem is for me is that the formators generally like late 30s, 40s, 50s. Seminarians are late teens or early 20s. Do they understand the same content with the same mind? How do they judge, well, this is helpful for the seminarians or not? Whether this is working or not? And I'm hoping again, in Australia now, back to Australia, I think I'm the first one who studied this area as well. So I'm hoping one day I may visit the seminary. So not like a lecture style, but kind of sharing what's going on outside at the moment. I can give them some examples of good use of social media or not ideal use of social media so that they can get the idea. Because in the end, as a priest, once you get out of the seminary, nobody can really control you except the bishop. But again, so they need to learn, as I said, formation and education, they need to learn how to use it properly. And then for the truth, beauty and goodness, but also for the message of God.
And Father, could you share a little bit what you studied and your thesis?
So I studied social communication at Santa Croce here in Rome. And my thesis was about social media as space for evangelization, comparison between TikTok and Instagram. So I searched the history of these two platforms, and I interviewed lay influenced Catholics. And so I filtered all these things. There are so many bunch of young fellows doing it. But I think particularly believe the work of lay students or lay young people are so crucial, because as a priest, as a religious brothers and nuns, we already have an advantage. But they have to start from the very scratch but then they create the contents that they think it is working within their generation. So I picked it up, some of them, and they were very kind to do the interview with me. So I sort of compared which one is a suitable platform for evangelization. Conclusion is that yes, both are different. So they are different way of your communicating with people. But because of the image or the brand name, Instagram has more influence than TikTok. But that was last year. So I don't know this year because it changes so quickly. But yes, for me, it's again, in the future, we don't know what type of social media will come up. But then if we understand the audience, that target audience that we're thinking of, right contents, right language, then we'll be good to go.
And what trends do you see happening?
I think in the future can become more common about virtual reality. You know, the VR setup things of communication.
Do you think that's going to come back, virtual reality?
Who knows? But at the moment, again, I'm just going back to the Korean situation that on the internet platform or internet broadcast, now there's virtual reality or these people who use the facial recognition using with the character of the animation going viral. And what happens is that the actual person and the virtual, somehow with the technology, you communicate together. So we don't exactly know in the future where we'll go with this, the method or tools of communication. But again, back to seminarians' situation that, yes, they need to experience some of it or learn about it as well, so that they can prepare, okay, things are going that direction, but we are believing in personalized Christ, Eucharist, sacraments, tangible reality. How can we communicate that to people out there? I don't really worry about, whether this evangelization or spreading the gospel is successful or not on that, because even Jesus himself, there was 5,000 people, 3,000, thousands of people followed. But then when he talked about the truth, how many people remained? And even he turned around and to the apostles like, are you guys going as well? And no, you're the truth and the life. Where can we go? So for me, if we deliver the truth on that social media or any medium, the people who are inspired by Spirit will come and follow.
Mm-hmm. And have you And have you found when you evangelize that the reaction online is different than the reaction offline?
Yeah, it can be. But there's again pros and cons. With online, you actually hear more about people's opinion because they sometimes hide behind their fake ID or whatever. So they actually say what they really want to say. But in person, sometimes they're to be polite.
Course,
Father is always good. And, God, come on, But yes, in terms of reaction, I think there's not really much difference if we do the right thing. So they're praising. One or two people come complaining, of course. But for me, is that internet platform has more freedom to spell it out what they really think. And it doesn't really limit it within my parish. Mm-hmm. So for example, our parish, we have 200, 250 people to come to Mass. But social media channel or our parish channel has 8,000. So it's hard to say, it's the same or not. But for me, it's in physical way, in the positive reaction is similar. But the negative reaction, I think online community has even, harder position for expressing their opinions.
Mm-hmm. And Father, can you share a little bit about the different kind of modes of evangelization online from Korea, Australia, and then here in Europe and Italy?
Yes, I could say that still, I think it's based on your cultural difference as well. So in Korea, I don't see, and obviously I don't really particularly find out the Catholic contents in Korea because I'm working in or living in Australia, so I have to try to find it. When I see it, I can understand because I was born and raised in Korea, but then that way not work in Australia. So, and also in Korea, in terms of evangelization on social media, they try to go a bit softer way to proclaim or to communicate, whereas in Australia it can be a bit stronger in a way, or a bit more serious, I would say. In Europe, I saw one or two priests, not from Italy. Oh, actually, one brother from Italy and one from Spain. Again, they're using very funny, light way of communicating with people, but talking about Jesus, of course. So, and even America, because I was in the United States last year, they are having a different way of communicating. Again, I think more like people try to be a bit more funny or a bit light-hearted in a way so that people can be familiar with who we are. But again, for me, well, I don't have to do it because they are doing it. So that's why I chose this type of content, which again, I don't receive only from Australia. I receive from different world about this content. So again, yes, those production on social media from different country has a different cultural background. And because of the language barrier, so Australia, America or English-speaking country can really share this contents, whereas Koreans, they have to change the language or translate the language, same as in Italy. So yeah, they have their own uniqueness of their cultural background and their content. But if we see the parishes growing, is about human connection. So yes, we are like our parish, Sacred Heart Q, is growing because two things, I think. One, choir, beautiful music. Second, the children's liturgy. That words spread around the area and they saw it, what's going on, and they come. So yes, I think we try to pass that message to online space, but I think core thing is you actually interact with people in physical way or in tangible way.
Where would you like to kind of, I don't know, thinking about our conference last week, like point AI towards?
So again, that was amazing to see all these experts on this field and about AI, and everyone has a different opinion, but also different angles. But still, I believe that the human beings are the actual controller of this machine, because it's a machine learning, it's a machine. or tool. So someone has to use it. So one of the conversation that we had on our group was creation and creator. So we're using the prompt, right? We are the creator to create this field. God is a creator. We are the creation. And there was a dilemma within this artist, and what God is creator, I'm creation, but I'm creator to make a creation. So all these things, yes, there's no right or wrong answer for me at the moment. But again, okay, if we're going this way, how can we educate people? Hang on a second. It's not all about machine. It's all about us, all about the people, dignity, and all these things. So with the children's liturgy, we try to engage kids, gather together. Obviously, we use our volunteers use YouTube skit and everything. You cannot really escape it. But then they try to ask them to draw something, so do some handwork, gather around, so they sort of feel the actual community in that small group too. And then after that, at the end of the mass, we call them out, show us your product, and share what you actually made it and all that. So again, it's a sharing within the community and pass it on the importance of human connection.
Beautiful. Well, Father Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks for your time.